Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani is a longtime critic of current Mayor Bill de Blasio and a longtime cheerleader for his own legacy during his time in City Hall in the 1990s.
It's quite clear the worst mayor in the history of New York City is the present mayor.
But Giuliani's comments quickly devolved from harsh criticism into a lengthy exercise Wednesday in race baiting, along with a trip down memory lane that often lacked context and ventured at times into historical revisionism. We begin with Giuliani's comments about schools Chancellor Richard Carranza.
He has a chancellor that belongs in Cuba, running their school system. And maybe he should go back to Cuba.
For the record, Richard Carranza is Mexican-American, not Cuban, and he was born in Tucson, Arizona. Mayor de Blasio responded on Twitter. His last line reads, quote, "Rudy Giuliani is irrelevant and represents everything wrong with this country." Rather than continue this report with a tit-for-tat, Giuliani versus de Blasio, we've decided to focus on Giuliani's statements about the current state of affairs in New York City and the country against the backdrop of his own experience.
If you want to take a knee, you should take a knee every time a cop goes by. It's the cop who's protecting you, not the Black Lives Matter criminals.
That was one of many instances in which Giuliani attempted to portray Black Lives Matter not as a national movement and rallying cry for police reform, but instead as a singular violent organization.
That's what Black Lives Matter stands for. They are cop killers.
Additionally, Giuliani inaccurately portrayed peaceful protesters and violent criminals mixed in the crowd as one in the same, when in reality, they are clearly two distinct groups. Moving on.
We have one of the biggest exoduses in New York City going on right now. The rich people are leaving.
Giuliani also delved into the coronavirus pandemic, its connection to the city's ongoing economic shutdown, and his preferred strategy to reduce crime.
The trick was reversing every irrational, criminal-friendly, dependency-friendly, liberal policy. Just reverse it.
It's really not fair for him to say that he's the sole reason why the crime rate in New York went down as far as it did.
Political historian and Fairleigh Dickinson University government and law professor Dan Casino says Giuliani actually benefited from the forces of gentrification, along with the groundwork laid by his predecessor, Mayor David Dinkins. Professor Casino adds that Giuliani-era crime reduction came with a cost.
We had enormous levels of policing, so we had a lot of arrests, but arrests aren't necessarily a good metric of actually having stopped crime. So a lot of what Rudy Giuliani did made white people feel safer, but at the expense of making people of color feel like they were victims in their own neighborhoods.
Regarding the pandemic, Giuliani also says that the city should not be shut down. We should report that Mayor de Blasio and Governor Cuomo say that the progress that's been made is because of the shutdown. We're live at City Hall. Jay Dow, Pix 11 News.